My name is Mike Confer. I am the head coach and owner of MROC Training, a mud run and obstacle course training center here in Oceanside. I am not only the coach, but I am an avid and competitive obstacle course racing athlete. I like to push my body really hard, and sometimes my body pushes back. Over the years, I've had a few setbacks with injury. That first injury that comes to mind, I broke my ankle in 2013. I tore my ATFL and chipped my tibia, which resulted in a surgery and 7-month recovery. 7 months of being in a boot, being on crutches, being on a scooter, not being able to run, barely being able to walk. And despite all my efforts, I could not shake the stiffness in my foot. I could not get the range of motion I was looking for. I tried physical therapy, I tried acupuncture, I tried all the stretches and mobility. I'm a mobility coach, so I tried everything that I know how to do, using bands and distraction techniques and lacrosse balls and foam rollers, and just that one spot, nothing seemed to work. I had been working with Asher with some active release technique. He suggested we try the red light, and we kind of had an epiphany, said, hey, let's treat the ankle, let's treat the lymphatic system simultaneously, see if we can stimulate some anti-inflammatory response and some cellular healing and regeneration that we can't get with our hands. It worked immediately. Within 2 or 3 sessions of using the red light, I was back to running again. I was able to start building up my mileage, felt comfortable enough that I could take on a race in about 2 months. So I put in 6 to 8 weeks of training, red light every other week or so. I think we were doing just to keep it fluid and moving and feeling good, and keep the inflammation down from the pounding that I was putting on it. And I was able to race again. And here I am a year or 2 later. My ankle doesn't give me problems anymore. And if it does creep up, if I put in a really hard week or do a really hard trail run, give Asher a call, set up a 20-40 minute session, come in, treat the ankle, and it works. When Asher first suggested we try the red light, naturally I was very suspicious. I had tried pretty much everything in the past, PRP injections and everything else, everything I could do to avoid surgery. Ended up having surgery. Thought that was going to be the end of it. Thought I'd be fine after surgery, and I wasn't. I was in worse shape after surgery than when I started, and that was the hardest part for me, knowing that I was going to take all this time off recovering from surgery and not be back at 100%. But like a true competitor, I'm willing to try anything at least once. Throw some more money at it. Why not? It's spent thousands of dollars to get it fixed in the first place, and I think I definitely got my most bang for my buck just with a couple sessions of red light. I mean, it was immediate response. It worked right away, and it wasn't, in the grand scheme of all the treatment that I've had, it wasn't something that you become dependent on. You use it when you need it, it works, and you move on, and you know where to go to get it when something creeps up. I mean, it's good to have tools in your toolbox so that when something creeps up, you know what works for what type of injury, what sort of pain. And for me, with my injuries that I've had a good success with the red light therapy. As a competitive athlete, we tend to push ourselves harder than we sometimes should. Sometimes we don't always listen to our bodies. Even as a coach and an industry professional, we don't always heed to our own advice. I had a situation where I had set myself up for a race that I was committed to do, hell or high water. I was going to fly across the country and do a Spartan race in the Appalachian Mountains. The same race that I broke my ankle at 2 years prior. So nothing was going to stop me from redemption at this race. And 2 days before my flight, I herniated my L4, L5 doing stupid lifting that I should not have been doing. And I was in pain, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And I reached out to Asher and said, hey, what can we do? And he suggested that I rent a red light system, take it with me on the trip. And if I was gonna race anyway, let's try to keep the pain down, let's try to keep the inflammation down before the race, and then especially after, get right back on it, so that when I returned from my trip, I could get it checked out and see what kind of damage was done. So that's what we did. And in between flights at the terminal, plug it in, 20-minute session before flights, get in the rental car, plug it into the inverter, drive 3 hours to my race destination, on and off cycles with the machine, keeping it loose, keeping it warm, definitely helped with the pain. Did very well at my race. I ended up finishing 13th out of 3,000 or so. Not bad for a guy that ended up having a bulged disc in his back and didn't know it, couldn't feel it, so that was good. And then the same thing, drive back to the airport, in between flights at the airport, just really using that thing, I mean, as much as I could, and it helped. And when I got back, I was injured. I did have an injury that I had to go get surgery for, but guess who I called after surgery? I busted out the red light, and here I am now, 6 months after surgery. I'm racing again. I just finished 5th at the Warrior Dash in SoCal 2 weeks ago, out of another 2,000 or 3,000 people. So I think I might actually be faster than I was a year ago, and I'm healthy and I'm not in pain, and I can definitely thank Asher and his suggestion and advice to use red light to treat my injuries.